Okay, so let's just jump into some examples. Remember that list of things that we talked about. It's important to remember them. It's also important to note that you shouldn't be taking some of these lines against people who you would consider fish, or especially on tilt. In this first example, we're on the button with King 6 suited. This hand happens at 25 NL, as I think most of these examples do. I open King 6 suited on the button. Pretty standard open for me. I get called by a player playing 2013 5% 3-bet over 1.8 thousand hands. So he falls into the category of someone who is probably a tag, who is he's starting to meet the qualifications as competent. I don't believe at this time that he's especially on tilt, so he's meeting the criteria here. The flop comes 7-3-9, giving us just king high. This is generally a board I would definitely c-bet when I'm holding just king high here. I'm not going to check this back. I do have several cards I can double barrel here if he was to call my c-bet. For example, a spade or a king for sure, and possibly even an 8. So when he checks, I plan on bet, and I plan on double barreling those cards I just told you. An 8, a king, a spade. So I do bet, but unfortunately I get raised. Now the first thing I noticed is his raise size. It's not especially big. Okay? Now, again, there wouldn't be anything specifically wrong with folding here, except he is raising our c-bet here. So even though this may qualify also as a check raise, he's still raising our c-bet here. So this is going to meet that criteria that we can look at. So let's take a look at his raised c-bet percentage first of all. So anytime my c-bet gets raised, I'll take a look at the raised c-bet percentage. So here's what we see. We have, first of all, the sample. We have 1,750 hands, so we definitely have enough hands here to start making an assumption on how often he's raising our c-bets. We also see that our raised c-bet percentage, that his raised c-bet percentage is 19% over the sample. Okay, so what that's starting to tell us is, first of all, for every percentage point over 15%, this is a player that tends to be raising a lot more. So the baseline number for us is 15%. Every percentage point over 15% is someone who's raising c-bets lighter and lighter, and likely has more and more bluffs in their raising c-bet range. So again, he's meeting the criteria of 500 hand sample, 15% or higher raised c-bet percentage. So he's meeting all our criteria here. Then we look at the board. The board is 7-3-9, so it's especially dry. So this is a type of situation where I would consider 3-betting as a bluff. I think that these are the types of spots where our opponents cannot continue very often. That he might be doing this with air, he might be doing this with a small pair, trying to just take it down or see where he's at and get out of the hand. If he gets re-raised, he's planning on folding and finding out right now if he's good, or he's just taking a stab at it. But people who raise this percentage of the time or more have more and more hands that they can't get away, or excuse me, that they have to fold. And having this type of sample is enough for us to start making this conclusion. So I do raise to 6-14, and he folds. Okay, let's take a look at another hand.